Okay, looking at number 6 on your homework, they want you to compute the average velocity over these intervals and then use that to estimate the instantaneous velocity at t equals 1. So notice that they have chosen intervals to the right of 1, so 1 to 1.001, 1 to 1.001, but very close to 1, and then also on the left-hand side. Here's your formula for the average velocity. I wanted to show you a shortcut on your calculator. I'll show you how to do it once by hand, well, kind of by hand with your calculator, and then we'll do it with the shortcut as well. So if you're going to do it by hand with your calculator, first you need to compute the function at t1 and then at t sub 0. So I'm going to use the first interval from 1 to 1.01. So I'm going to go ahead and do the whole calculation. So I'm going to do it in parentheses, and then I'll do, using 1.01, I'm going to do 15 times 1.01 minus 4.9 times 1.01 squared. And then I have to subtract the function evaluated at 1, so 15 times 1 minus 4.9 times 1 squared, and then close that parenthesis, close the parenthesis on the numerator, and then divide that by the length of the interval, which is 1.01 minus 1, which you probably know is 0.01, but anyway. And if you hit enter, and if you typed it in correctly, you should get that 5.15. So that's kind of tedious. You can get your calculator to do this automatically. There is a feature in your calculator which is just kind of like an Excel spreadsheet. If you hit stat and then edit, you'll come into a list where you have L1 and L2. These are lists. And I went ahead and input the intervals, the T0, T sub 0 intervals, 1, 1, 1.9 into the L1. And then I put in the second endpoint of the intervals in L2. And then if you come over into the third column and you move your up arrow so that you're up into L3, and then you can actually type in the formula from there. So you're going to do 2 parentheses, and then you're going to do 15 times L2. So you can just do second L2, because that's, and then minus 4.9, and then the L2 squared. And then you'll subtract the function evaluated with the data in L1, so 15 times L1 minus 4.9 times the L1 squared. All right, and then close that parenthesis. That closes the entire numerator. Then you're going to divide that by the difference between the intervals, which is just L2 minus L1. So you'll do L2 minus L1. Oops, my minus didn't come up. And so now when I hit enter, it's going to fill in all the columns. And I should be able to see that it does look like then that the average is about 5.11 or 5.2. Let's make that to undo real quick and pull it over here. Okay, so 5.15, it looks like 5.2 would be the length of the interval. Or sorry, the 5.2 is an estimate for the instantaneous velocity when t equals 1, because as you get, when you come in from the left or the right, smaller and smaller intervals, it looks like we're approaching 5.2 as the instantaneous velocity. So 5.2 meters per second. Velocity at t equals 1 second.